Well, they had so much fun doing it the first time, they're going to try it again here at Memorial Stadium in Baltimore. Light rain, that's what the delay is all about. Kansas City Royals and the Baltimore Orioles, and this is just a one-game stand. Yes, they did it before in April. Baltimore came away with a win. This is one of those lockout games once again. Because of the lockout, they're trying to make them up. Sometimes it looks like the NBA. We end up doing them one at a time, slowly, ever so preciously. And tonight, the Kansas City Royals won't even go to the hotel. They just show up at the ballpark, Norm Hitzges, and unfortunately without Mark Gubicza.
Mark Gubicza has gone on the disabled list, and it's yet one more pitching problem for the Royals. You know, you could never figure the Royals being in last place in the American League West. They've had a lot of problems, but the number one problem is the pitching staff. Fished out of the minors to start tonight at 31 years old is Pete Filson. He's in the rotation along with Saberhagen and Gordon, two of the regulars, but Steve Farr's in there, and he was fished out of the bullpen, and Storm Davis, signed for millions, has given him one win. But the starters aren't the only problem. The bullpen's a problem, and right now the question is, what is Mark Davis? Is he a starter? Is he a reliever? Or is he the nowhere man?
And will he continue to be a Kansas City Royal? That's something you're going to have to think about as the second half of the season goes along. John Wathan, the skipper, just has not been able to get a whole team together. The other side of the coin, the Baltimore Orioles that we will see tonight, Mike Lupica, this is the miracle team of a year ago, 87 wins. Right now they're struggling to get back to 500, where they have rarely been this season.
The Orioles video for last season was called Why Not? Unfortunately, to this point in the season, it would have to be why. As in, why after the way they play would anybody still think they still have a chance? Living out one of the pet theories of the Elias people. Live by the one-run game one year, die by it the next. 17 and 27 this year in 1- and 2-run games. It's time for the Orioles to get a move on. If not, over the offseason, a team that hasn't spent a lot of money lately might have to spend some.
And a team that has spent a lot of money, of course, the Kansas City Royals. They went out in that free agent market, tried to pick the people up that everyone thought would make them the contender in the Western Division against Oakland. It simply has not worked out that way. For John Wathan, whom we mentioned, their skipper, though, he's been given support from upstairs in the Kansas City organization. They are not blaming him.
This is a very stable organization, has been for the length of the franchise. This is a club that's been remarkable in its stability over 2 decades plus, and it's still stable. They're not panicking. They realize they've got a good ball club here that's just not playing very well. But Gary, here's another example of money can't buy me happiness. The Red Sox and the Mets are the third and second best teams in payroll in baseball. The Royals are the best paid per player, but it didn't buy the Yankees happiness. It isn't buying the Dodgers happiness or the Angels happiness. Money doesn't get you wins necessarily in this game anymore.
Well, for both these teams, it's to try to pick it up for the second half of the season. Hang in there. Wednesday Night Baseball on ESPN. We'll be back to Baltimore, Kansas City, and the Royals. The rain's going to hold off for the rest of the night. It did not rain very hard. It's just a couple of minutes of light sprinkles, so we're about ready to go. Our Sears Die-Hard starting lineup for the Kansas City Royals tonight as they come to Baltimore. Kevin Seitzer will be leading it off at third base. Kurt Stillwell, outstanding at shortstop. He'll bat second. The veteran at first base, George Brett, will be batting third. Bo, need we say any more, in the cleanup spot in center. Danny Tartabull was going to start in the outfield. They've changed him to a DH role tonight. Jim Eisenreich was going to start in left field. Instead, he's in right. He will be followed by Willie Wilson, who wasn't going to start at all. He'll be in left field. The catcher will be Mike McFarland. He was going to start all along. And Frank White, the veteran, will be at second base. And defensively for the Baltimore Orioles, there they are in the outfield. Brad Cummins will be in right. Devereaux in the center. Joe Orsulak will be in left. The infield, Craig Worthington at third. The Ripken brothers, Kells at short. Billy's at second. Moose, Randy Mulligans at first base. Bob Melvin, the veteran catcher. And the 25-year-old second-year man, Bob Milacki, making the start.
Bob Milacki finished very strong last year. He won his last 5 starts. In fact, the only pitchers in the American League that won more games in August and September than Bob Milacki last year were Brett Saberhagen and Storm Davis. He throws a sinking fastball in the middle to high 80s. He mixes a curve, a slider, and a changeup. He's especially effective on grass, as you'd expect a sinker ball pitcher to be. In fact, in this stadium, opponents hit only about .230 against him in his year and a half in the major leagues. He's pitched well at times. He has not been supported well for his entire career as an Oriole pitcher.
Crowd on hand here tonight. Special night we'll tell you about as we go along here, and we are ready to go. So folks, enjoy this one-night stand. Seitzer leads it off. Milacki. First pitch is in for a strike. The starters did not start warming up until the regular time, as they would before in a game 20 minutes before. The rain delay was called well in advance, so they did not have the pitchers out and throwing. Missed inside to Seitzer. 1 ball, 1 strike. Seitzer doing a great job at the plate offensively this season for the Kansas City Royals, and what has been just a struggle for them. Seitzer's second in hits in the league with 96. Only Ken Griffey, the young all-star, has more in the American League. Check swing on one around the eyebrows that time. 1-2.
Amongst leadoff hitters in the American League, the only 2 people better at getting on base in the leadoff spot this year just happened to hit 1-2 for the American League in the All-Star game last night. Ricky Henderson and Wade Boggs. In fact, this is an All-Star not on the All-Star team right here. Seitzer.
Big offensive numbers for him. Milwaukee. 1-2. Ripken. Milligan. Seitzer's out of there, 1 away. Take a look at our weather here in Baltimore tonight. It is not uncomfortable. This ballpark and in the city in summer can be tough, but it's a comfortable 74 degrees, cloudy, chance of showers. Those old winds out of the northwest at 12, as they always are. Humidity not bad, and we still do have a 50% chance of rain, but it's also a 50% chance it won't. Oh, Mike.
Winds out of the northeast. I don't mean to correct you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Northeast.
That's right.
I felt that.
Checking to see if
with the groundskeepers before the game.
Did you use the old wet finger routine, Mike?
No, it just blows through my hair.
Fouled off by Stillwell.
I don't mean to make hair comments with this particular broadcasting group.
And nor should you, if you wish to continue to be part of this particular broadcasting group. 1 down, nobody on. Worthington just off the cut of the grass at third base. I like he turns it over and misses down low. Stillwell arrived late, very late this afternoon. Stillwell and Tabler did not come in with a team. They had been off on other events during the All-Star break. And they had problems with late airline connections. Didn't get to the ballpark till after 5. Center field. Maybe it works better that way. Devereaux holds it in. Stillwell retired on the fly ball out, and there are 2 down. The umpires tonight. Rocky Rowe will be behind the plate. Tim McClellan at first. Derwood Merrill, the 14-year veteran, at second, and Don Dinkinger, the senior, is at third base in tonight's game.
Is this how we pick our Wednesday night games? We find out where Rowe, McClellan, Merrill, and Dinkinger are umpiring. We have them just about every Wednesday night, it appears.
Like their itinerary, so we thought we'd just follow them around. 2 down, nobody on. George Brett. Couple of left-handers in a row in the order here against Milwaukee. Play him to pull in the infield, and it works outside, misses.
Don Denkinger forever linked with the history of the Kansas City Royals baseball team for his call in the 6th game of the 1985 World Series. Said order was safe.
Times was that replayed? Misses down low, 2 balls and no strikes. We will have to live with that for a while.
You know, there were 2 replayed moments out of that series. That call and then the Andujar explosion.
Yeah, they had to practically airlift him out of game 7.
I like it. 2 down, nobody on. The 2-0 pitch, and Brett takes the strike. That's an inside up high pitch. Brett looking for a career hit 2,600. The next one he has will be 2,600 in his career. Only 52 players have ever done that in Major League history. I like he inside outside on. He misses with that one, and the count goes to 3-1. You see the fine eye of the strike zone by Brett as Milwaukee got inside on the strike and tried to get the outside corner on him, but Brett's very tough to work off that plate.
Here's where Bo hitting behind Brett is such an advantage. Milwaukee feels real pressure to get the ball over, not have a man on base for Bo.
Fouls that one off down the left field line. Worthington, the third baseman, giving chase. It'll end up in the seats. Souvenir. $2 per ticket tonight is going to a very special fund, the Ted Wolf Scholarship Fund. As you take a look at Bo on deck, a state trooper here in the state of Maryland who lost his life in the line of duty earlier this season. And the Baltimore Orioles are honoring him here tonight. Wife and family on hand, and they will donate the $2 per ticket sold here tonight to that fund. It's a very appropriate gesture by the Orioles. Got a hold of that one in the gap in right center field. Boy, did he cream that ball. Comments and Devereaux going over. Comments go pick it up, and there it is. If you got to get 2,600, you might as well give it a good solid whack. And that's what Brett did. He becomes the 53rd to hit 2,600. Congratulations, George Brett.
And he also moves up on the all-time doubles list. He's already the active leader in doubles. 527 of those hits have been doubles by Brett.
Nice cut. He got all of that one. That one's in his wheelhouse, and he gets that down on the plate that way. So he will gather it in. There's the first hit. Comes with 2 down. Puts him on for Bo Jackson. Bo's putting some numbers up. He's running a hot streak right now. The breaking ball is in for the strike. Jackson has picked up 18 RBIs in his last 11 games. You see the average that he has now put to 269. More importantly, though, 3 home runs in his last 6 games. And Jackson's also moving the average up. He's starting to get it done after a slow start.
He is the first official Jose Canseco wannabe.
It's official, huh? 2 outs, 0-1. Fastball misses. Take a look at the home run numbers for Jackson, as he right now is 8th in the league in homers. You can see what he's done since the 11th, with Ricky and Fred McGriff behind him. Okay, 1-0. That takes it down low. Melvin gesturing out there to Milwaukee to throw strikes. Milligan at first base. Stillwell not very far off the bag. Brett with his 13th double of the season, as we mentioned, joining that elite club with 2,600 hits. You see the great eye. He's turning around looking at Rocky Rowe on every pitch. Let's see what the call is. 3 balls and no strikes. For Brett this season, he has struck out 35 times and drawn 32 walks. He has hit into 9 double plays. That's what the Orioles are looking for right here. Three and 1.
Same situation as last time up for Brett. He's ahead in the count 3-1. Again, because of Bo's presence, Brett should get a very good pitch to hit. That is, if Milwaukee can get one in the strike zone, and he's had difficulty doing that at times in the first 2+ innings.
Brett can hit it. 310 lifetime average for George Brett. Runner not going. Foul tipped. And that'll take it full. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Milwaukee.
You know, Gary, the worst thing a guy like Milwaukee can do is walk people, because he doesn't strike out anybody.
That's why he's throwing so many pitches.
He'll be gone by the 6th inning at this pace.
He's walked 2, struck out none. 47 strikeouts in 103 innings.
And by the way, Baltimore's strong suit has not been a bunch of middle inning pitching performances this year. It's been erratic in the middle innings for them.
3-2. Stillwell's going. That one's walked into right field. Brett's got the eye tonight. That'll be a base hit. May score a run. Stillwell will make the turn. Up with it, Brad Kominski's coming to the plate. Throw to second. Not in time. And Brett has his 2nd double and an RBI. And Kansas City's on the board. They make it a 2-1 ball game. And Brett has hit the ball hard. Both times the gap in right center. Stillwell scores.
First time up tonight, the count went full on George Brett, and Milwaukee gave him a pitch up and out over the plate in the strike zone. This time up, it goes 3-2, and Milwaukee gives him a pitch out and over the plate in the strike zone.
Stillwell easily made it, as Comets decided to put that into second base. 528 doubles. 18th place now in baseball's all-time list with doubles, with who else? Frank Robinson, the Baltimore manager. Bo Jackson up now, runner at second base. That's 3 hits off Bob Milacki, and that is an unearned run no matter what happens. Towards second base, Ripken makes the play, 1 away, and that will move the base runner up as Brett's over at third base. Don't forget, on Friday night, our doubleheader in a big game, the New York Mets and the Cincinnati Reds, 2 powerhouses right now. The regional game, Minnesota-Baltimore, will kick it off at 7:30 Eastern time. You'll see the straw that stirs that drink. And then the Toronto Blue Jays and the California Angels of the regional game, Milwaukee-Oakland. That will be at 10:30, our second game, as the Blue Jays making the run at their division title, and California just trying to get it back on the road again. Runner at third now, 1 away. Job here for Tartabull, the designated hitter, to get him home. Milacki with a breaking ball in for the strike.
I asked John Sherholz, the Royals general manager, last week what happened. I said, what if you could pick on one thing, what would it be? And he said it was a pox on our whole house. But one of the things he talked about was the injury to Tartabull and their inability to get runners home from third base with 1 out early in the season.
Well, tipped, held onto by Melvin, and Tartabull's down on the count, 0-2. See Wayne Garrett, third base coach, walking out of the pitcher with Brett waiting. Brian Holton already up in the bullpen for the Orioles.
Tartabull's not been good with runners in scoring position this year. 239. Last year only 207. That belies his reputation as a big producer.
Like he just wastes one right there, well outside the strike zone. A ball and 2 strikes. Yeah, Tartabull has been noted most of his career as a guy who generates some clutch hits. One-two to him. Check swing. Fair ball. Milligan's got it, but it's going to score a run. Milacki over to get it. Excuse me for the RBI. Brett crosses the plate, and this game is tied at 2-2. Brett, a run scored, picked up his 30th RBI driving in the first one. And now the second run crosses the plate. Credit Danny Tartabull with his 28th.
Hey, this is a sensational play by Milligan. This ball takes an awful hop on him. It comes way up on him, and he still gets that ball and gets the out. Even though Milligan's fielding mistake began the error, that ball most first basemen do not get.
Great spin on that ball, making it very tough to play. 2 down, bases cleared, but the Orioles now find themselves tied.
Bob Milacki looks like he's treading water. He has absolutely no rhythm at all. I mean, he's been everywhere. He's been in front of the plate. He's been wild, high.
That's going to be a base hit for Eisenreich into the corner in left field. Joe Orsulak over to get it. Not only a base hit, but yet another double. So Eisenreich is on with a double. That's the 3rd double picked up in this game off Milacki. 3 of the 4 hits, 2 baggers. That's how you score runs. And Eisenreich has his 17th double of the year.
You know, he's just a good hitter. Listen, and that's a sinker ball with a fastball up in the strike zone. When sinker ballers get the ball up, that's generally batting practice.
Maybe that's why he doesn't want to throw strikes. When he does, they just tattoo them.
Eisenreich, who hit 293 last season, is on second base. Chance to go ahead now for the Royals if they can get another base hit right here. Wilson drew a walk his first time up.
Well, Milacki's just groping for his stuff. Now he's gone to a lot of off-speed stuff. 63, and he's not out of the 3rd yet. That computes to over 100 in the 5th, and that's usually the area a pitcher starts getting a little wobbly.
He started already being wobbly. Been a tough night. 0-1. And he bounces that one. Sometimes you just don't have it. And tonight looks like one of those nights for Milacki. He was fortunate to get out of those first 2 innings without giving up a run, but not fortunate here in the 3rd. And Stillwell did reach on the error, which Milacki had nothing to do with to score the run. But Brett Eisenreich hit the ball hard, although he should be out of the inning.
Yeah, all runs in the inning are unearned.
1-1 the count with 2 down. Eisenreich the big lead at second, and the pitch misses high and inside. 2 balls and 1 strike.
When Bob Milacki misses, it should be low, not high. When a sinker ball misses, it should be because the action of the pitch has run it out of the strike zone beneath the knees.
13-year veteran at the plate. A .289 lifetime hitter, and all of it with Kansas City. 2-1. Hit hard, but it's a foul ball right straight down the line. 2-2. Ripken not moving over to cover second base here. The shortstop with Eisenreich on the bag. He's got an enormous lead. See Eisenreich edging off there. He's way off, halfway down to third last time. Now Ripken will challenge him just a little bit. Not much. 2-2. Looped. Ripken going back. If it's a base hit, it's a run. Ripken. No, he can't get it. Eisenreich will score, and it's 3-2 Kansas City on a looper by Wilson. 3 runs in the inning, and even though Milacki's struggling a bit, his fate could be a whole lot better in this inning.
You won't get a chance to say this very often. Cal Ripken did not play this ball very well. He in fact overruns the ball. He's a little bit beyond it and reaches back. The ball actually fell a little bit in front of his glove, it appeared.
I also think he got started from a bad place because he was very concerned with Eisenreich and that big lead off of second base.
Yep, good point, Mike. That's exactly right. Pitch out, not going is Wilson. You talk about the little things of baseball that make a difference. There's one of them. Because Eisenreich takes the big lead on the first 2 pitches, it forces Ripken, with a left-handed hitter up, to move a step closer and lean towards second base. And then the pop-up goes the other way. If he's back at his normal shortstop position, he's waiting for the ball. Instead, he's chasing it and can't catch up to it. And it's a run.
On that subject, a question. Why do shortstops try to hold men at second base with 2 outs, especially men with speed like Eisenreich? Hey, any ball hit to the outfield, Eisenreich scores on. I don't care if Ripken's cheated his lead a step or not. A step is not going to matter in that. It is simply not going to matter.
But he'll steal third on you.
Well, that's fine. Somebody's still got to hit him in.
But then it can be a wild pitch. There's one towards the gap in left center field. Joe Orsulak over's not going to get it. He does cut it off. That may save a run. Wilson will not try and score. And another double. McFarland with a gapper. Run saved by Orsulak. Fans are ready for the change, and so is Frank Robinson. Mike McFarland gets his 15th double. And here comes Robinson, the Baltimore manager. That's going to be it for Milacki. And remember, he should have been out of this inning. All the runs unearned.
Well, you tend to be a little sorry for him for the unearned runs, but
no.
Listen, he's been hit hard.
Yeah, wait a minute. You have to pitch to the circumstances of the game and the circumstances of the inning. Sometimes this tough luck pitcher stuff gets carried way too far.
He got wrapped. If it wasn't now, it was going to be later. Milacki heads to the showers.
But first of all, we've got a new game at the Metrodome in Minneapolis. Oakland had taken a 2-0 lead in the top of the first, but the Twins have returned the favor. Brian Harper off the wall. Ricky Henderson misplays it. Kirby Puckett scores. Kent Hrbek, however, is dead meat at the plate. It's a 2-2 game after 1. Back to Baltimore. Gary?
Thank you, Bill. And it's a 3-2 Kansas City lead as they've come up with 3 unearned runs here in the 3rd inning. Brian Holton on.
Kind of like the guy who plays the music here. When Holton came in, they played Time for a Cool Change. He's 30 years old. Fastball, cut fastball, curve, and changeup. He's been going very, very well lately. In his last 11 innings, he's allowed only 2 runs, 7 appearances.
Runners at second and third now for Frank White. This is a big at-bat right here. And he fouls it off for a strike. Base hit, and he can put a couple of runs up, a couple more for Kansas City.
On the other side of this, guys, I'll submit this to you. If Holton manages to get White or the guy after him and get out of the inning without any more runs, the Orioles will be in pretty good shape considering how hard Kansas City hit the ball for 3 innings in this game.
Assuming they can stop that from happening. 2 down here, runners at second and third. 0-1 misses up high.
Yeah, I like Filson, but he hasn't been Warren Spahn so far either.
No, we're going to have some runs in this game.
Yeah, you get a feeling that, well, it's Wednesday night, guys. I mean, Wednesday night, we always, first 1 to 15 wins Wednesday night on ESPN.
Frank White waiting at the plate, hitting just .226. Breaking ball. There's the old elastic pitch.
Man.
Off-speed curve from Holton, and he had him 3 swings in front of it.
He didn't pull the string here. He pulled the rope. Getting near an ephus with that baby. Started above White's head.
Been a while for Holton. He hasn't worked in 8 days. Last outing was against Texas on the 3rd of July. 1-2. Up the middle, off his leg. Run coming to the plate. Gonna have to make the play at first. There's no one anywhere. It's a base hit for White and an RBI. Wilson scores from third. And this is one of those nights Baltimore may wish there hadn't been a lockout, because they wouldn't be playing this game. And right now they're behind 4-2. And everything hit, no matter where it goes, is falling in. And Robinson's going to have to come out with his trainer. They're going to have to check to see whether or not Holton is all right.
Kansas City using the Oriole pitchers for a human dartboard. That one catches him on the right leg. It looked to be in the knee area. Holton appears to be okay.
They don't need to lose anybody. They're going with 4 starters as it is right now. The Baltimore Orioles just made the announcement John Mitchell's going to be inserted into the starting rotation. He's only pitched a few games, being called up from the minors. The bullpen looking on. They'll have Ballard, Harnish, Dave Johnson, Milwaukee, and Mitchell as potential starters in their rotation at this point. Frank Robinson wants to try and go with 4. Ben McDonald's up, but he's going to work out of the pen.
It's funny, for everything that's happened to the Orioles this year, you just turned Ballard's record around, and they're right there. He's 1-9. What was he, 10-2? He started off 10-2 last year.
5.06 earned run average on Ballard.
Well, he was one of the pitchers that spent the spring at the negotiating table.
9th man up in the inning, Kevin Seitzer. And he's got runners on at first and third, a 4-2 lead. Frank White, who got the infield hit, picking up the RBI. Keep an eye on Holton here. Make sure he's all right after being banged with that ball back to the mound. White with 14 runs batted in, by the way. And the off-speed pitch misses up high to Seitzer.
Holton was one of the heroes of October of '88 for the Los Angeles Dodgers. He pitched brilliantly against the Mets in the playoff series in some very big moments.
7 hits up for KC now. 2-1. Seitzer waited, lines it into left field. That's going to be a base hit. He joins the attack. Another run scores. McFarland crosses the plate. And remember, all of these are unearned runs. It is a 5-2 Kansas City lead. And for Seitzer, credit him with his 24th run batted in and his 97th hit.
You know, any inning now, the Oriole pitchers are going to throw a strike beneath the waist to the Kansas City Royal hitters and see if they can hit the ball down there. Everything's been up. Milwaukee was up. Holton's up. And quite honestly, the old adage in baseball is a 250 hitter becomes a 350 hitter when the strike's above the belt.
10th man up in the inning. Stillwell started all this, reaching on an error to Randy Milligan, the first baseman, which opened the inning, and it has been a wide open door. And the breaking ball is outside. So Milwaukee will be charged with all 5 unearned runs that have scored thus far in 2 2/3 innings. 6 hits, 2 walks, no strikeouts, and 5 unearned runs. Stillwell hitting .283. Playable. Melvin. That'll do it. But it took 10 hitters to get it done, and the fans with a little decorous cheer.
ESPN Baseball Tonight, brought to you by Pizza Hut, home of pan pizza that's winning the hearts of America. Pizza Hut, making it great. And by Centel, the telecommunications company where people connect.
Well, can Pete Filson do it again? Last victory, 1987 in Baltimore. His major league win. He's 15-14 lifetime. He's on the mound with a lead as Orsulak fouls it off, leading off the bottom of the third. And the Baltimore Orioles have to work from behind, down 5-2. 5 unearned runs, 6 hits and an error in that third inning. The strike 0-2.
Have we got the Royals offense well or not? Well, they got 13 last Wednesday.
The Royals offense has not been bad. In fact, it's been very good. They are third in the league offensively with a .265 average. Only Boston and Minnesota have better team averages. They've not converted those into the number of runs you'd expect with that average. Orsulak fouls it off.
Funny thing is, the Royals win 9-3 and then lose 4-3. They've had a lot of those type situations this year. You talked about Baltimore, Mike, in the open being 17-27 in 1- and 2-run games. Kansas City's 13-23. They're even worse percentage-wise than the Orioles when the game's decided by 1 or 2.
1-2 delivery. Orsulak fouls it again. I find it interesting that in the Elias baseball analyst for the past few seasons, they've gone back and done a lot of this one-run ball game stuff and how it works. You mentioned earlier, a team that wins a lot of one-run games one season is likely to lose a lot the next. And what they've concluded is one-run games are decided by luck and not talent. Orsulak licks that one to left center field. Bo won the charge. Bo is there. Yo, mama, run that wall. Bo.
He turned it into a triple jump.
You can do it all, big guy. Get up that wall.
Bo knows exactly what he's doing.
Spider-Man. Oh my God, you gotta love it. They show it on the big screen. Listen to the crowd.
Spider-Man deal.
Orsulak, it's only one out, but geez, that was fun. Here's Randy Milligan.
But again, he underscores that situation. He is one of those arresting characters. He and Jose Canseco, the two arresting characters in the game.
Old understated Bo. Don't even know he's in the room.
Play this game with a little flair, won't you? Ball was hard hit. That was a shot by Orsulak.
He was on it the whole way, too. What a great jump he got.
Bo can play center. 1-1. Off-speed pitches up high, 2-1.
I'll tell you something. We saw an old-fashioned pepper game on the field in front of the Royals dugout today. That was the kind you used to see every day at the ballpark, and the guy having the most fun was Bo.
Randy Milligan to left field. He got a pretty good ride into this. Wilson going back at the wall. Has room, maybe. Yes! And Pete Filson saying, my God, I love these outfielders.
Did you think that ball was going that far when he hit it?
No. That's a strong man right there.
Pete Filson doing the pitcher's job. Keep the ball in the yard. Barely.
That's well played, though. Knew right where he was. That's how you play it as an outfielder. Look at that.
Again, we've mentioned before, Willie Wilson, a career center fielder, and Eisenreich, a center fielder, flanking the center fielder Jackson. This is a terrific defensive outfield.
So good defensive inning for you folks. Great to have you with us on our ESPN Wednesday night game. This is what makes this game fun. People like Bo. 5-2 lead for the Royals, and stepping out is Tuttleton, who had a single his first time up. Gary Thorne, Norm Hitzkus, and Mike Lupica. Kansas City's own Mike Lupica. I opened the door. You don't have to go through it.
No, I'd like to explain later.
2 down. Here's the 1-0. And he missed it up high.
People got a little cranky last week in Kansas City with a few innocent remarks, most of which I didn't make. Got cutouts in the stands and so forth. But I think I've patched up a lot of the damages.
Can we go back there now? Here's the 2-0 pitch. Fouled off.
All I said was It was a little quiet at the start of our July 4th game, and I might have mentioned that I thought they were going to play a lullaby during the 7th inning stretch in good fun. People got a little upset.
I like Kansas City.
Well, not by the tone of some of your comments last Wednesday.
See how he pawns this off on us? 2 balls, 1 strike, 2 down.
Should have thought of that last Wednesday.
We'll
the 4th of July.
Him. Bilson's 2-1, misses up high, 3-1. Filson has struck out 1, the only strikeout he has this year. Remember, he's only worked a third of an inning at the major league level, but 12-2 at AAA. Fly ball to center, a little easier play. 3 fly ball outs.
That's 1,000 feet of outs, Gary.
Important word there is outs. We've completed 3, and there's your line score. Kansas City Royals all unearned runs, but they count. John Wathan has been out for most of this inning, talking with Rocky Rowe, the home plate umpire. Not much excited, although he was concerned about what we know not. Just not sure, but he spent the whole time out there with Rowe. His club's got the 5-2 lead, and Holton's gone, and we're going to see a big name with some question marks at this point.
The face of the future, Larry Bernard, Ben McDonald, the #1 choice in the draft of the Orioles last year. Oh my, has this kid got a future? If he can get it all put together. Bothered at the start of this season by a pulled oblique left muscle. It connects the rib cage and the pelvis on the left side. Once he got to the minor leagues, he was bothered by blisters. McDonald's explanation was the seams on minor league baseballs are higher, and they kept irritating the blisters, which sounds a little odd, but he's up. The blisters are a little better, and you ought to see some heaters. He mixes a changeup, a curveball, and everybody's favorite pitch these days, the forkball or split finger.
And he'll work against George Brett, as you see, having himself a night here in Baltimore. For Brett, 2 hard hit balls in the alley in right center field. Brett came in with just a couple of hits and 12 times up against the Orioles this season. Adding to that, Ben McDonald starts it out with a strike. Fans are obviously excited about McDonald. You hear them applaud. They want Ben McDonald to be successful. So much publicity surrounded his arrival here in Baltimore. He's going to be a starter. Frank Robinson has chosen to keep him out of the starting rotation for the moment, just to give him a chance to work his way back into shape. But before the season's done, expect him to be among the 4 or 5 starting for Baltimore. Brett on the heater, fouls it back 0-2.
George, you got to adjust the old meter there, George. After Holton and Milwaukee, this guy gets it there about 1/10 of a second sooner.
You know what Wathan may have been arguing about? It is sprinkling lightly here again. Do you think he's charging that Robinson is slowing this game down? He had McDonald come out late from the bullpen, maybe, because McDonald took a long time to get out there. You see the umbrellas going up. We are only in the 4th inning. I have a feeling that's what Wathan was talking to Rocky Rowe about. Got it. And that was a split finger pitch. And you hear the fans responding.
The 96. You know, Gary, I thought that was a splitter when he delivered it, too, because of the way the ball ran.
It wasn't.
That's just the action he gets on his fastball. 96. By the way, if you're saying out there, that guy looks big. He is. 6'7", 212.
So he gets the first strikeout for the 3 Baltimore pitchers. The first batter he faces Brett. Now here's Bo.
The season is not numbers. It is moments like this. Maybe Wathan was complaining that the East German judge didn't give Bo a high enough score there.
Oh, what a wonderful. You think you're going to see that again during this season and for the rest of your life?
Sir.
That one fouled back. That is a replay you are going to be watching for the rest of your days on this earth if you are a baseball fan. He just provided it for you, and you saw it live. You could say, I saw that live on ESPN.
It strikes me Major League Baseball is going to come out with a new half-hour show this week in Bo Ball.
Before his career is done, he'll provide enough to fill it. 1 down, 1-1 delivery by Ben McDonald. Fastball off the hand.
You know, we overstat you, we over baseball you sometimes, and then a moment like that comes along that just burns itself into your memory, and the whole trip to the ballpark
just seems a little more worthwhile than when you got to the ballpark.
Yep. And Nike put $7 more million in the bank that last half inning.
And you will get charged with that commercial indentation. 1-2, right field base hit. What you just saw right there is a pretty good piece of hitting by a guy who likes to take the big cut. He went with that ball that was down and away. Gets the single, one away. What's going on, Bill Patrick?
All right, Gary, at the Metrodome, the A's and the Twins. Kirby Puckett. That's a line shot to the gap. It'll go all the way to the wall. His second RBI of the game as Gene Larkin scores. The Twins taking a 3-2 lead. The A's have a chance to pull 2 games ahead of the White Sox, who lost, but they trail at the moment by 1. Gary?
Sox have lost 3 in a row now with that loss. Devastating loss in a sense for them because they were way ahead in that ball game. Ahead early, ahead late. 6 runs in the 8th inning by Milwaukee. Got it tied. They went extra, and the Brewers won it 12-9.
Well, Alan Anderson 2-11 coming into that game. It's not like he's thrown his arms around the notion of being the Twins ace this year, has he?
Your ERA leader 2 years ago. So McDonald with Jackson on at first base and Tartabull up. Tartable's picked up an RBI tonight. The RBIs have gone to Seitzer, Brett, Tartabull, Wilson, and White. Jackson, yes, he can run. Being held by Milligan, and Jackson likes to run. Of course he does. It's fun. There he goes. Picked him off. The throw. It's a caught stealer. Billy Ripken makes the play, and the fans up and at him. Jackson wants a balk call, but he's not going to argue very long about it. He's caught stealing for the 7th time. 10 stolen bases.
He is purely guessing here. Purely guessing. He doesn't see any movement from McDonald. He's guessing that he's going to throw it home. And McDonald, by the way, showed a lot of composure. If he whirls and throws to first base, they never get Bo at second. He stepped off the rubber and then threw to second base. And not exactly a textbook slide either, one should point out.
What do you think Billy Ripken's thinking as he's watching Bo coming down the line at him? Chop towards second base. Ripken again. That's a good short hop play to Milligan. And Ben McDonald's out facing only 3. No runs, a base hit. Nobody left on. Orioles. Let's see if that picks them up. Ready to go to work on the mound for the Royals, who have that 5-2 lead, and Cal Ripken will be leading it off, and he wants to step out. And Rocky Rowe holding him in. So is McFarland here. They're talking about who was ready to go here and who wasn't.
I think McFarland was upset, and Rose said to Cal, I think you got to ask, pal, before you step out here.
Or take the pitch. Ripken takes it up high. I wanted to show you some numbers here. We'll try and get him in on this at bat about Ripken and the streak that's going as he goes after Gehrig, the consecutive game streak, which has become just almost a monumental burden. The discussion about it seemingly never ends. 1-0 pitch inside. Should he be playing? Shouldn't he be playing? Does it matter more that he gets a day's rest? How bad is his back? Is his back really hurting him? Watched him hit last season in this upright stance, and it was hurting for a while. 2-0 pitch is on the outside corner. You see what he's got to do. If he's going to catch Gehrig, that's how many games he's got to play. That's how many pitches he's got to face. Times on base, assists, and participating in double plays. He's come so far, yet there's so much more to do to catch Gehrig. Those are incredible numbers. Just totals, those are incredible. And that's what he has to do to catch Gehrig.
Pitches to be faced.
There's one. He fouls off.
There are 80 more games this season, 162 games each of the next 4 years. If he manages to get through that, it'll be the 70th game of 1995. Mark your calendar, June 23rd, 1995. That would be the 70th game scheduled this year. June 23-24, 1995 is the date to catch and pass Gehrig.
You just got to get out of the house more. No, I mean.
There's the first walk given up by Filson. That's what the Orioles needed right there from Ripken, who's been on twice.
Norm, I know you're busy with this and the radio show, but you just stamp collecting, coins, anything.
Now, that, mind you, is
what, unofficial?
No rainouts, no lockouts, no strikes, and of course no injuries.
That last one's
or rent a cassette or something. Get a movie.
5-2 lead for Kansas City. The Orioles get the leadoff man on against Filson here in the fourth, and Worthington takes the pitch. He popped out his first time up. He's in an 0 for 11 right now for Craig Worthington.
Just in case some loyal Oriole fan wants to call tomorrow and say, could I reserve 4 for the 23rd and 24th of June, please? 95.
At the other ballpark.
Yes.
That's the strike. 1-1.
Pete Filson's a kid. I asked him before the game. I said, they tell you anything about staying in the rotation? He said, they haven't told me anything. I just want to stay here.
Just a little while longer. Worthington takes it up high, and Filson goes behind 2-1.
He said he liked pitching for the Yankees in '87 because he grew up with a lot of crazy people. So he said he felt like he fit right in there.
Here's what he's done tonight. The pitch is thrown. Not bad. 2-1. Worthington wraps it. That's going to be a base hit, a chopper. Worthington's got a single. Ripken will stop at second base as Eisenreich gets to it in a hurry. Ripken not going to take any chances here, and the Orioles may have something going. Fourth inning, first and second, nobody out. Well, Worthington gets out of his slump. Johnny Oates, first base coach, talking to him.
Before the game, there was a terrific moment in the Kansas City Royals locker room. I went down to talk to Pete Filson to find out some things about him because we haven't seen him for a while. And I asked him, you know anything about the Orioles? And he produces from his pocket a number 10 envelope, an Orioles business envelope, and he scratched the names of the 9 hitters of the lineup tonight, and he starts to go down and he says, I don't know this guy. And I said, that's Mike Devereaux, the leadoff hitter. And he said, Ripken, I know him, Tettleton, Worthington. He says, who's this guy, Miller? I said, no, Melvin. He's the starting catcher for the other team. The triumph of the uncluttered mind.
Triple A all year. Come on. Taken down low for a ball. We were talking the other day, Mike and I were on a talk show and talking about a situation where fans think that Major League players follow baseball. Let me tell you something. There are a lot of Major League Baseball players who have no idea who they're playing on a given day, where they are, what the standings are, or who's doing what. Not a clue. Runners go. Foul back. Had them both running that time. There are guys playing Major League Baseball. You mentioned Roger Maris to them. They haven't a clue as to who Roger Maris was.
I was listening to a talk show on the radio the other night, and somebody called up and said, well, why are 2 All-Star games listed back in 1962? Not knowing that there were those years when they played 2 All-Star games.
See the runners both going, and they had big jumps on Filson. Andy McGaffigan up in the pen. Filson 1-1, down low 2-1. Major League Baseball players, when you come in to do the lineups, how many times do you go into the clubhouse to get lineups, and the players will ask you, who's pitching for the other team today?
Yeah.
They don't have any idea. Well,
and then that startling article in the magazine about Jackie Robinson, where they asked a bunch of young black major leaguers, and several didn't know who he was.
2-1 count. Nobody out. 2-on. Foul ball. Pick that sign off.
Ball girl looked like Hitzkes on that foul ball in here.
He got further away from it than she did.
I know. I mean, it looked like a bizarre suicide attempt by Norm.
There she is. And a wise move, young lady. Their job is to retrieve them when they stop rolling, not to catch them when they're on the air. Very light rain. Very light. It's just a mist. Not enough to have any effect on the game. 5-2 lead. Kansas City. Bottom of the fourth inning. Baltimore threatening here with 2 on and nobody out in Melvin. Melvin at home is 4 for 45 this season. And he takes the pitch up high, and it's full. 3-2.
Not a good battery situation for the Orioles tonight. Malachy hasn't won at home since April 20th, and Melvin now 4 for 45. What do you think? Frank started him earlier. You start him again here?
He's checking with Cal Ripken at third. See if they're going to go. There they are. Ripken at second. Worthington at first. 3-2, nobody out. They do go. And there's a base hit into left center field. Ripken makes the turn. Johnson bobbles the ball. Worthington will score the second run. Wilson retrieves. It'll be a single and an error. And it's a 5-4 Kansas City lead. Single, RBI, error, Jackson.
The rule here, way back in Little League, is play the ball in front of you. Get in front of the ball if you can. Jackson comes over. He seemed to be skating a little bit out there on the wet turf, and this field took a lot of rain early in the day here in Baltimore. But that ball should have been stopped by Jackson.
Now, we just got through talking about Melvin, what he was doing at home. He certainly turned that around that time. That's a big hit. And the Orioles are back to within one. John Wathan is out, and Filson going to leave the ball game here in the bottom of the fourth inning.
A nice little gimmick, the old pinstripe uniforms, the short-billed caps. The White Sox won the World Series in 17, but they didn't play like World Series champs today as the Brewers came back big to win this game 12-9 in 13. Gary?
Bill, you're saying that our game wasn't exciting prior to this point. Did you denote that, guys? I think he was saying our game wasn't exciting. We'll remember that, huh? Of course, it's Wednesday night. They usually are. Andy McGaffigan.
Andy McGaffigan. ESPN has something to do with Andy McGaffigan being here. Royals spotted him on TV pitching out of the Giants bullpen, and when his name went on the wire to be moved, the Royals, who could use some help in the middle inning situation, picked up Andy McGaffigan, and he's been pretty good for them so far. Andy's got a nice 2.77 earned run average, and in 13 innings, he's allowed only 10 hits and 3 walks. This is a guy who's had some success around the major leagues, and there's a guy who realizes he's not going to get many chances to have 5-2 leads in games.
Only his 28th major league start ever for 31-year-old Pete Filson. Now, he still could win this. No, he can't win this game, but he could be out of there without having to suffer a loss.
Yeah, he cannot, well, he can't win or lose now.
Throw down is not going to be in time on the lead at second base. No, he's only going to be at best non-decision.
You know, there is so much baseball this summer on TV. I mean, we have a game on ESPN Sunday. There's 2 on Tuesday. And and they look like small dramas like Pete Filson, but it's a huge drama to him tonight. This game was everything to him. Everything.
The chance to stay at the major league level, because his chances are going to be few and far between. The pickoff had some daylight that time. Is still well moved in. Melvin's the base runner, and everybody's after him. Picked up the RBI single. 2 runs in. 1 right now on the error by Worthington. So there's a little daylight there, but he didn't have a big enough lead to hold up for the pickoff. Billy Ripken waiting, and the pitch is inside by McGaffigan. 1-1.
Well, you throw all the mixes in here, Mike. This guy McGaffigan's going to turn 34 in the offseason. He's got to prove he belongs in the major league still. Guys like this want to hang around till expansion. They get a lot of years into the system that way. And McDonald's trying to prove he belongs here right now.
Breaking ball, foul back, 1-2, nobody out. Runner at second base.
You get just so many days and nights. The great players get a lot.
Oh, yeah.
And the fact is that what you say is right about Andy McGaffigan, but he's had so many more than Pete Filson. Looking for his first win in 2 years. Pitching the heck out of the minor leagues, and ultimately it doesn't matter. It just gets him an opportunity to have this drama tonight, and he didn't do the job.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Potential tying run at second with nobody out. Ripken almost got him. Stopped by McFarland as he had to pull the elbows up on that pitch. For Andy McGaffigan, worked 2 innings at Detroit on July 5. A couple of hits and an earned run, a walk and a strikeout. Had his first American League save against Minnesota on June 21st. Performed a lot for Montreal when he was with the Expos, before going over to the Giants for some limited time. Giants have gone through some people. Here's the 2-2, and that one's chopped towards second base. White. That'll move that potential tying run up. Melvin's now at third base with 1 away. I want to remind you, our ESPN baseball season continues Sunday night. Those San Francisco Giants and the St. Louis Cardinals now under red shadings. 8 o'clock Eastern time right here on ESPN. John Miller, Joe Morgan will be there. Will Clark, Kevin Mitchell for the Giants. Ozzie, another one of the all-stars there in what's now the post-Herzog era of a Cardinals team that's got to regroup. The infield drawn in on the right, halfway on the left. Billy Ripken got the job done. He moved that base runner up. And now can Brad Comins deliver? Comins get the home run and a real shot His third of the year. 7 RBIs for him. He got it with 2 outs, nobody on in the second inning. McGaffigan jams him again. 1-1.
Gary, one of the hard things to explain about McGaffigan is why Montreal didn't keep him and then why the Giants didn't keep him. Over the last 4 years, Andy McGaffigan's 24 wins and 12 losses with 20 saves, and in 3 of those 4 years his earned run average has been in the 2s. What's so unusable about Andy McGaffigan that 2 teams who needed pitching should move him in the same season?
That's hard to say because he is a horse. He's another one of those guys who can throw a lot often. 1-1 is outside. 2 balls and 1 strike.
Yeah, this guy has averaged 63 appearances a year for 3 years. That's a pretty good pitcher.
Melvin, the potential tying run at third base. A 1-run lead for the Royals. Infield's drawn in. Comments, good eye. Takes the pitch outside. He's not biting on the tease pitch, and the count is 3-1. Top of the order, Devereaux waiting on deck. All 3 of the home runs hit by Comments this season have been with Baltimore. Did not pick up any with the Giants. 3-1. Jammed him, runners coming. They got a shot. Still well, nope. Not hit hard enough, and this game's tied. Well, they got the ground ball, but not enough even with the infield drawn in as Bob Melvin scores, and this game is 5-5.
You know, you hear a lot of people talk about speed and its effect on the game. Well, it's just as important to know base running. Melvin doesn't have much speed, but he read that ball properly off the bat, that it was not hard hit. This is an excellent piece of base running by a man who doesn't have speed, Bob Melvin.
Made one mistake going in. He turned around and looked to see where the ball was. Fortunately, it wasn't coming home. That'll cost you a half a step. So the Orioles have done it. They've gotten back in here. 3 runs in this 4th inning. Tie the game up. Done it on 5 hits. RBI credited to Comments, so he's got a couple tonight. And with 2 away, Devereaux with the bases empty. 1-1.
See, everybody's out of it now. Bolton's gone, Malarkey's gone, Filson's gone. It's now McGaffigan and McDonald.
Andy McGaffigan misses down low. 2-1.
There's something. This guy started out as a Yankee. Does it strike you everybody in the big league started out as a Yankee?
Lots of them playing.
Yeah.
But after the breaking ball, it was out of the strike zone. 2-2 on Devereaux.
The guy he replaced started as a Yankee, Pete Filson.
Well, I've said before, you will, if you are in the big leagues, you will get an opportunity to play for the Yankees. If you're unlucky, you get to play more than once.
It's like if you fly, you're going to change planes in Atlanta.
2-2. Misses outside. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 down.
And then there's the 3-timers, the people they just keep bringing back, Michael.
Yeah, some people like Mattingly apparently have life.
3-2 delivery. He got him. Another breaking ball, and Devereaux could not lay off it. But the Baltimore Orioles come away with 3 runs in the 4th inning. They responded. Baltimore's Memorial Stadium, where the Royals and the Orioles are now 5-5 as we go to the 5th inning. There will be just a bit of a delay here. This is real tough. Their medical people are working on somebody directly behind home plate, and that's why you see people looking back there and why the players have hesitated here. It's a member of the crowd who has suffered what seemingly is a heart attack, and that's why they backed off a little bit as the medical crew is doing that. You see behind home plate where they are standing and working. You want to be brought to reality in a hurry. That will do it. Eisenreich will lead it off for Kansas City against Ben McDonald, now the pitcher of record for the Orioles, and the fastball is outside. Pete Filson, 3+ innings, 5 runs, 4 earned on 5 hits, had a walk and a strikeout. Eisenreich Laces that one into left field. Quality hitter. 2 for 3, double and a single. Kansas City's double digits in hits now. Bill Patrick.
All right, Gary, at the Metrodome, an explosion for the A's against the Twins. Here's the explosion. Gee, Jose, think it's gone? Number 23 for Canseco. That caps a 5-run inning so far. Oakland leads at 7-3. Alan Anderson has given up 7 runs, and he is still in the game, Gary.
A lot of people forget the Oakland A's were in second place at the All-Star break last season. That was not a ball club that just up and ran away with a division last year from the get-go.
Yep. California led at the break last year.
Eisenreich on at first base with a 10th Kansas City hit. And Wilson, who delivered an RBI single his last time up, will try it again, batting .279.
The break last year, Baltimore was in first place in the East by 5.5. Can you believe the Yankees were second?
No.
I know. You don't think of the Yankees having been that close at a point, but they aren't that far removed.
Wilson draws them in.
They're not that far removed from the Orioles right now. The Orioles are only 5 games ahead of the Yankees in the loss column. The Orioles are talking about making a run, and they were a good team last year, and maybe they will make a run. But the fact is they're closer to last place right now than they are to first place.
Tell you what, nobody in front of the Orioles frightens them, though.
1 ball, 1 strike, runner at first, in at third base. Worthington, just in case the bunt's on. Pretty close play on Eisenreich.
Nobody in front of them frightens them?
No. Boston and Toronto certainly don't.
Well, they're not nearly as good as either one of those teams.
Well, I know, but those 2 teams might have a good chance to back up and be just over 500 teams.
See, I don't think so. I think Toronto does this every year, and I think Toronto's pitching is going to find its form, and then it's going to be a question of whether the Red Sox can make a deal for a pitcher.
Trying to hold for the double play here, and in a tie game in the 5th inning. Wilson is squared around already, looking as though the Royals may be playing it to get that run in here to go ahead again. See if he's swinging away or not. There, had me fooled. Fake go by Eisenreich. He took 2 steps toward second on that.
See, I don't think the Orioles are of that caliber, and I'll tell you something else. I don't think they're as good as the Tigers, who really are maybe 1 pitcher away from being a pretty good baseball team.
Tigers in Cleveland have legitimate shots. If Cleveland can get John Farrell back from their rotation, their pitching rotation, now that Swindell straightened out, has 3 good pitchers in it. Black and Candiotti have had good first halves.
They stayed in there with nothing from Swindell.
Yep. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Inside, 2-2.
You like Farrell, don't you, Gary?
I love John Farrell.
Yeah.
I think John Farrell is going to be an outstanding major league pitcher. He has suffered with the injuries this season a bit. It's kept him off. He's a quality pitcher, smart pitcher, knows how to pitch, and has from minor league days. 2-2, runner not going, foul back, battle on right here. Ben McDonald and Wilson's looking at heat. Ben McDonald's firing in the fastballs up around that 95, 96 mile an hour range.
I'll tell you a good way to tell if a guy's really whipping it in there. Foul balls reach the upper deck. Only power pitchers have foul balls off them that consistently reach the upper deck. Those guys, winging it in there at 85, their foul balls, they don't have enough steam on the pitch to get it up that far in the stadium.
Again, the 2-2, runner not going, and again it's fouled off.
I was talking to Larry Lucchino, the chairman of the board of the Orioles, before the game. And in my very winning, sweet as you please way, I said, when are you going to spend some money on somebody? And he said, what is it you think we spent on Ben McDonald?
Yes, they spent some money on Ben McDonald. Why? 14 of the 16 fastballs he's thrown have been 95 or 96 miles an hour. He's got that great arm.
1989 Baseball America Player of the Year. Atlanta offered him $67,000 to sign at a high school. Think going to college helped him a little bit?
Didn't hurt the bank account.
No,
Or his mind. 2-2. Runner goes. Pitch out. They had it. The throw. Got him. Even with a high throw. Billy Ripken takes it. And Eisenreich is caught stealing. So they had the numbers on that one. Takes the leadoff man off the base pass. Bob Melvin got it.
Gentlemen, let me suggest to you that somebody just stole a Royals sign. A pitch out on 2-2 with nobody out. That's a little odd. You got to have a little more than a guess feeling to call pitch out 2-2 in that situation.
What a good play by Billy Ripken.
Just to get the tag on. They check on whether or not he went around. He did not, and he's on. High throw by Melvin, but he still got him, and that's followed by a walk by McDonald to Wilson. So one down, runner at first.
You're Ripken there. You're looking at ball, runner, and bag, and he brought the ball down right to the perfect spot in one motion. That's a really good play.
Well, leading back to a comment you made before, if Billy Ripken hits 269, Billy Ripken will be in the major leagues 15 years.
Yeah, right here. If they spend any money.
And he'll still be playing with Cal at shortstop after 15 more, by the way.
June 23rd be a big night. 1995. Got that baby circled.
Mike McFarland hitting 268. Runner at first base again with speed as Wilson. Ben McDonald looking over. Eisenreich now has been caught 10 times. He's stolen 9 bases, but has been caught 10 times this season. That's a big play here in the middle of the ball game to get that leadoff man off the base pads.
Other than when Carlton Fisk was in his slow down heyday, have you ever seen a team more exasperating than the Orioles?
They do that to their fans, don't they? And themselves. Breaking balls in for a strike. You know, I was looking, though, the Baltimore Orioles last year as a team ended up 12th in the league with a .252 average. That's where they are this year right now. Their ERA last season was 4. That was 9th. Their ERA is actually better this year than it was last year. Their numbers, except in wins and losses, are not significantly different, except for the long ball.
Yep.
And losing games.
And Ballard being 1-9. That's a huge scar on your record.
Losing those tight ones, though.
Yeah, they're losing tight games.
I mean, you break this club even in those games. If they're 22-22, this club is right in the hunt. But they're 17-27 in 1- and 2-run games.
See what he's throwing. 1-1. Strike in the inside corner. When he puts a pitch right there, there's nobody going to hit it. McFarland, who had a double this last time up, just backed away as McDonald knee-high inside corner riding in on a right-hander.
Boy, here's a tough situation. Behind in the count to Ben McDonald. If Ben McDonald could go 1-2 to every hitter he faces, he's a Hall of Famer, because now you're at his mercy. You've got to sit on the fastball. You know that's his heater. Anything else throws you completely off here.
Wilson's on at first base with 1 out.
It's like Gary Bell's line in ball 4, though. No, they were going through the other team's hitters one day at the pitchers meeting, and Joe Schultz kept telling Bell to pitch everybody low and on the corner. And finally, Bell said, if I could pitch everybody low and on the corner, Joe, I'd be in the Hall of Fame.
All I got to do is put the bat on the ball, and I'll be a 300 hitter. 1-2. Did he go? He may have. No call yet. Melvin tracks it down. Runner goes. Now they're going to check it first. And no, he didn't go around. Tim McClelland at first base. It's a wild pitch which moves the base runner up, and that was close to a swing right there.
Well,
Take a look.
I agree, Gary. This looked like a swing from up here. And it's still, well, that's a tough one. McFarland did a good job of holding the wrists and not having the bat break that plane and go in front of his wrists.
Yeah, that's funny. I thought it was strike 3.
You know, the other thing he did, he didn't take off for first base. You got to have some quick thought right there. If that's strike 3 and the ball gets away, he wants to be running to first. He never moved out of the batter's box.
Let me tell you what, if McFarland goes any further forward there, somebody would have to give him a first down.
He won the situation. 2-2. Now he can put his club on top of the base hit. Wilson at second base. 1 out.
Yes.
See you later.
Oh, baby.
No question about that one. McDonald gets his second strikeout. Just pure heat down the middle, and now there are 2 away.
The list of people who hit this pitch is very, very, very small.
That's the pitch that could have gotten Gary Bell to the Hall of Fame.
So that will leave it up to White.
You know, it is the 20th anniversary of Ball 4, and I was rereading it last night. They've come out with a special edition. What a wonderful book that is.
It still exists.
You
20
bet,
years later.
You bet. It changed everything. It changed everything, including sports writing.
Yet, as with all things, don't you think when you read it again, it is so mild compared to the uproar it started when it was published. Runner at second, 2 away, and he bounces that one.
You know, Boughton was called a social leper, among other things, for writing this book.
You know, now we make 27 movies a month, wilder than that book about kids on summer vacation.
That's true. See, but that's a movie thought for you, Norm.
5-5 game. The Orioles are trying to get the lead back. Runner at second and 2 away. White had an RBI single in the third. It's 2 for 2. He's got him up to 232 on the season. 14 runs batted in. There'll be no play on that one outside of first. Great to have you with us on this Wednesday night. ESPN Wednesday Night Baseball. We're at Memorial Stadium in Baltimore. And a good one underway. Each team's had the opportunity. Baltimore had a 2-0 lead. Kansas City had a 5-2 lead. The Orioles have come back to tie it up. Them be the folks sitting up here trying to add to your enjoyment.
Hello, Kansas City.
That's Mike Kansas City Lupica.
Quit edging away from me when you say that. Is so cowardly.
I do not want to be hit by that lid. 1-1. Ripken. That'll do it. Good job by McDonald after a leadoff single to Pat Stealing Eisenreich. Played important in that inning. 1 left on at second.
ESPN Baseball Tonight, brought to you by Cooper Tools, manufacturer of the new Lufkin Series 2000, the most advanced measuring tape on the market. By Thompson's, the first name in lasting protection. By the Bic Metal Shaver, the choice of future Hall of Famer Nolan Ryan and fans everywhere. And by Budweiser, the king of beers. Remember, know when to say when.
Well, we've got a good one going here as this ball game's tied up at 5-5 going to the bottom of the 5th inning. Take a look. Ripken at short, ending the inning. Does he double clutch? Drag the back foot a little bit. He didn't get a lot on the throw, but he got enough.
Last inning, Andy McGaffigan did a wonderful job of getting out of that inning. He retired 3 hitters in a row. Ripken on a little infield grounder. Cummins got a little infield grounder and struck out Devereaux. McGaffigan with a really nice inning.
Andy McGaffigan worked into Joe Orsulak, who's taken the 0 for 2 thus far tonight. Orioles lead the series. They've only played 3 games. 2-1. They opened up in Kansas City. Orioles won 7-6 and 11. Royals came back with a 2-1 win the next day, and then they played that lockout game on the 23rd, a 1-game series like this is, and Baltimore won that 8-5.
There are so many different pitching levels in this game. You had Bob Milacki, who became sort of a big guy last year. You got Ben McDonald. Everything's in front of him. You got McGaffigan, a journeyman but a very solid pitcher.
Orsulak, center. Jackson. That'll take care of the leadoff man. 1 away. Bill Patrick, who didn't think our game was exciting, is at baseball tonight. Hi, Bill.
Hi, Gary. You're going to love this, guys. Check it out. Greg Gagne bidding for extra bases. Watch Ricky Henderson go back, and make a great catch. Or does he? Watch the replay and watch the ball as it hits the plexiglass. Still a great catch by Ricky. It shouldn't have counted. Greg Gagne is out. Oakland leads by 4.
They're going to want instant replay. McGaffigan missing inside. Randy Milligan.
That's what they get for playing baseball in a hockey arena. You're going to get calls like that in the hockey arena.
Off the glass.
The amazing thing is that the other Henderson didn't check him against the boards after the play.
Saunders are better looking than that place.
1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out.
What?
No, I didn't say anything.
Well, it's true. It's a funny looking place inside.
Oh, it is. 1-1. Got a hold of it to center. Jackson. 2 fly balls to center. 5th inning. 2 down, nobody on. It'll bring up the designated hitter, cleanup batter Mickey Tuttle. Bose had a busy night out there, including 1 error committed, which helped tie this ball game up. but he also made a great catch.
The final pitching level, of course, was Pete Filson, who had his 1-game, 7th game of the World Series. I mean, he may get other chances, but he had the lead tonight. It could have put a 1 spot up on his record. It would have been a real big deal for him.
He exemplifies that problem, the difference between AAA and Major League level. I think we mentioned 95 and 34 at the minor league level, and a 12 and 2 AAA. The AAA is not the Major League level.
Well, how about Dana Kicker? What is he? Would he pitch 1,000 innings in the minor leagues in his career?
Every once in a while, though, one of those guys makes it. Like Jack Doherty starting to make it in Texas. After 9 years and 2 batting titles in the minor leagues, somebody's finally said, Jack, I'm going to let you play a little bit and see if you can hit 300 in the majors.
Swung on a miss. How about Kevin Hickey? Oh, this Baltimore staff, another guy who spent his whole career bouncing up and down.
How about Randy Milligan?
Randy Milligan. Nobody wanted him, and he becomes a great first baseman. A very solid, well, not great, but a very solid first baseman, a Major League first baseman for the Baltimore Orioles.
And then there's the chairman of that board of people, Keith Comstock, released in 4 countries in his career.
1-2 pitch is outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Mickey Tettleton with 2 down.
Very few people, Gary, can say they've been released in the United States, Mexico, Venezuela, and Japan.
That day will change when we go to the International League and our road trips take us to Moscow, Peking. Got him, and that's going to happen. Andy McGaffergan's looking tough. That's a couple of strikeouts. He sets the side down in order.
Make those trips without me.
Ben McDonald's left the game 2 innings, a couple of hits, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts. So we will see our 4th Baltimore pitcher.
And another youngster the Orioles have high hopes for, and this guy has got one of those wonderful names. Curtis Montague Schilling is on for the Orioles. He's 23 years old. He mixes a fastball, a slider, a changeup, a forkball. He came over to the Orioles along with Brady Anderson, an outfielder, in the deal that sent Mike Boddicker over to the Red Sox, where Boddiker's done quite well, thank you. Schilling's just been recalled from the minor leagues on June 29th, where he was 4-4 at Rochester. He's pitched 4 times since his recall, and he's gotten 18 of 20 men out.
And he comes in a 5-5 game in the 6th inning, and Seitzer saw that one go in front of his eyes as he backs off and has it bounce off the bat. Leadoff batter Kevin Seitzer, RBI 3rd inning single. Stillwell and Brett will follow him here.
I think Frank Robinson did the smart thing. A couple of good rounds for Ben McDonald. Get him out of there.
That's why he's got him out of the starting rotation, just to give him that kind of an opportunity. And McDonald looks strong. 0-1 delivery. Just up high.
He threw some punches tonight, didn't he?
Yes, he did. An exciting young pitcher.
Not a ball hit out of the infield against him. The base hits, no fly balls, and a couple of infield dribblers and a couple of strikeouts.
Seitzer scooching down. He's trying to get a walk here, but not on that one. That was in the strike zone. He didn't think so as he turns around. Has a word with Rocky Rowe. Nearing the 100 hit mark now for Seitzer. Adding to it with that single that he's picked up here tonight, and that one misses outside to him. 3 balls and 1 strike. He wants to be the leadoff man who gets on in this situation. Seitzer now with 97 hits, on base percentage up to 363, and a very good slugging percentage at 411. Fouls it back, 3-2.
You know, we were talking about 400 and the chance that somebody might do it and the odds against it. Can you imagine if anybody ever got into September in this day and age? I mean, the way we blow small things out of proportion, can you imagine? They'd have to have a new network for him.
Well, remember when Brett made his run? I mean, he was all over the place. It was August.
Well, September 19th, he was still in it. I'll tell you, and that was 10 years ago. I mean, can you imagine what it'd be like now?
Yeah,
that's one of the reasons it would be another reason they would be so difficult to do, is that a person who's got that close is followed by literally a horde, an army of press people.
Oh, we'd have a Pete Rose-like army of people. I mean, Pete Rose going for Ty Cobb and Pete Rose going for what happened last year.
3-2 delivery off the fist, shallow left field. That is not deep, but Orsulak has plenty of time to get underneath it. That'll retire Seitzer, the leadoff man. Schilling wins that battle. Let's check in Nope.
All right, Gary, let's head to Vegas, shall we, for the AAA All-Star Game, and it just wouldn't be an extravaganza without a visit from Morgana the Kissing Bandit. Am I right? Her victim? Well, she plants one on Eddie Williams of the Las Vegas Stars. And, guys, for the record, Mr. Williams maintained his composure and lined one out to left.
Did you see the catcher and how disgruntled he was? They never know who she's going to come out and kiss, and they're all hoping, let it be me.
We're reduced to doing Morgana AAA cut-ins tonight? Is this the poverty of baseball tonight? What's going on here?
One down, nobody on. Kurt Stillwell, and he takes it down low.
Maybe Pete Filson's rethinking of whether or not he should have been there tonight.
What, get kissed by her? Geez, there's a landmark day in your life.
She has become a regular performer at AAA All-Star games. Fouled off.
Yeah, she's an American icon like Zsa Zsa.
She just said she was there. That's all.
Yeah. Boy, there it is, the cover of the next Baseball America.
1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out. Kansas City's out hit Baltimore, double them, 10-5. It's a 5-5 game. Good. Schilling misses with that one on Stillwell, 2-2.
Morgana sightings. Ooh, she's in Buffalo next.
You gotta make a living.
Well, God.
Here's the 2-2. Got him. Schilling gets the strikeout. Inside corner pitch. No argument by Stillwell on that one. 2 down.
This is outstanding location for Schilling. Catcher's target, knees on the inside. 93 miles an hour. Orioles using the high gun, by the way. It is the one that registers a little higher because it takes the reading of the speed of the pitch as it leaves the pitcher's hand. The slow gun reads it as it gets to the plate.
2 down, bases empty. When the gun's taken out of baseball, I'm going to be one of the happiest people in the game. I'm so tired of hearing about the guns.
Is there anything Freudian between the connection of a Morgana shot and a discussion of the Jugs gun in the same inning?
Yes. They both have little to do with baseball. Grounded up the middle. Ripken over to get it. He'll make the play, and he got it.
All right.
And behind second, and the ball is slowed down as it went over the mound. A 1-2-3 inning for Schilling. As we go to the Orioles half, I want to remind you, on Tuesday, what an interesting matchup this one's going to be. A chance for you to see those Chicago White Sox and the Detroit Tigers. And that will be at Tiger Stadium. Regional game San Francisco and Pittsburgh. It'll kick it off Tuesday at 7:30 to be followed by the Brewers, who won today over the White Sox, and the California Angels with the regional game Toronto and Seattle. The second game of the doubleheader coming up on Tuesday. Good night of baseball for you again right here on ESPN.
You know, as we go to the bottom of the 5th, just a note about that fella right there, passing from your picture, Rocky Rowe. Hey, we've had all sorts of pitchers in the game, guys who are throwing all over the place, guys who can throw hard, guys who throw soft. We haven't had a single question of a call by a hitter tonight. And sometimes games by umpires that are good games go totally unnoticed because when they're working well, you don't notice them at all.
That's the way it's supposed to be, isn't it? Breaking ball is taken down low, ball 1.
He who officials least is noticed least, officials best. I knew I'd get it. It was in there. The thought was
there. The thought was
little
there.
Digging, sure.
Ripken waiting, and the fastball's inside.
Just a little excavation work there. You guys both knew what I meant. It's like Yogi. You always knew what he meant.
Just couldn't say it. Or maybe he did say it, and you knew exactly what he meant. It was only when you went back and looked at it you realized you weren't sure how he said it.
God, there's so many great Yogi-isms.
5-5 game. Ripken's been on twice. Has an RBI and takes the pitch up high. The Orioles try to make it 3 in a row. Have the home run from Brad Comets. Melvin's picked up an RBI. Ripken an RBI. 1 run is scored on an error. That came in the 4th inning when the Orioles picked up 3. Strike call right down the middle to him. 3-1.
Here's where you got to be careful with McGaffigan if you're the Royals. He's come in, he's done the job you wanted. He's gotten you 2 shutout innings, but this is a guy that's basically a 2-inning pitcher. He's about to get to the 2nd time through the lineup.
Picked his father off at third base that time. And McGaffigan gets back to 3 balls and 2 strikes. Nobody out. Trying to get on Ripken to start the inning here. Worthington will follow, and then Melvin. Hitting .254. Oh, right down into the foot.
Kick save.
Boy, you could hear that one.
You know, a couple of weeks ago we talked about Ripken, and why not compromise a little bit? Why not DH a little bit instead of playing shortstop every day?
Well, that's always an option, I suppose. A couple years ago, I remember asking Don Mattingly the same question because he DH'd a few games, and he told me that it really refreshed him because he's such a good two-way player, and a lot of his concentration is involved in the defense. And he said it was good to take a break from the defense and just concentrate on hitting. I've never tested that theory out yet. Maybe that might be an option for me later on, but right now, I want to play in the game and I want to contribute both ways.
Fouls that one back. Well, he does contribute. As we mentioned, his bat really has become a hot stick for them. And that will dismiss some of the discussion about whether or not he wants to sit out. A lot of that discussion was instigated because he just wasn't hitting.
Gary, I think that'd be a good compromise for them, though. Why not a couple of times a year just tell Cal, hey, the game's at 7:30. Be here at 6:30. We'll take you down to the cage, do a little batting practice. Then we'll DH you for the game and rest the legs for 3-4 days.
I think it's pretty much up to him. 3-2, he's on. That's what he wanted. Ripken's been on all 3 times now as he draws the walk. First one off McGaffigan. See if the Orioles can take advantage of it. Let's check in with Bill Patrick.
All right, Gary, at the Metrodome, top of the 6th, the A's play long ball. They play short ball as well. Mike Gallego lays it down perfectly with 2 outs. Gary Gaetti has to eat it. Felix Jose scores 8-3 Oakland in the 5th. The Twins are threatening with Kirby Puckett on second base.
So Oakland trying to generate it. Get it going in the second half, and if Canseco's ready to play again and he's blasted one, it'll make a big difference. McGaffigan will keep an eye on Ripken now at first base. Let's see what Worthington's going to do. He had a single in the 4th. His job here, though, is to get this base runner moved up. 5-5 in the bottom half of the 6th inning. And McGaffigan knows that, so he's going to hold Ripken close at first base. Not going to give him a lot of room. Not squaring around. Worthington takes the strike on the inside corner. Remember that the 5 runs on the board for the Kansas City Royals are all unearned runs that came in the 3rd inning. All charged to starter Milwaukee, who still got hit hard, but they are unearned runs. The 7 have been left on by the Royals. While for Baltimore, the only time they've left people on was the 1st inning when they left 2 on base. But they've taken advantage of opportunities since then to score those who have gotten on.
You know, with a good closer like Olson, Robinson may play for 1 run here.
Worthington bounces it off the plate foul and is now behind on the count 0-2.
The game changes dramatically when you've got a certainty in your bullpen like Olson. You can say to yourself, hey, give me a run lead in the 6th. If Schilling gets him in the 7th, I can come to Olson in the 8th and bye-bye ball game. Where teams with shaky bullpens, like the Royals, for instance, they can't play that type of ball as regularly and with as much confidence as can the Orioles.
That's what the Orioles try and do, as all good teams do, have that stopper. Get there, get to him with a lead. Whacks it foul, inside out swing, and the count will stay at 2 strikes. See McFarland give the closed fist no out sign, reminding everybody. 0-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Both these teams playing pretty well. Baltimore with a 3-game win streak, and even though Kansas City's lost 2 out of 3, they've won 5 out of 7. for both these teams. It's just been a struggle trying to get a win streak together.
It appeared,
make it hold.
Yeah, it appeared when we saw them last week, Kansas City was getting it together. Then they went to Detroit. In the last couple games of that series, Detroit just launched stuff on it.
Hey, Detroit does that. Detroit does that to a lot of people.
1-2 delivery. Worthington takes it outside.
I mean, Detroit started out 11-22 and went into the break 41-44.
Did you see the home run that kid Travis Fryman hit for his first major league hit?
They really like him.
Hey, when you hit a home run to the seats in dead center field in Tiger Stadium, Mr. Thorne, that's about a $5 cab ride out there.
They are 8th in team batting average. The Tigers are. Foul back. They are last in pitching in the American League, but the difference is they have hit 95 home runs this season. And they have a tremendous slugging percentage at .409, and as a result have generated almost 400 runs, and they will be the third team to reach that level of 400 runs in the league.
And that's with Lou Whitaker giving them nothing in the first half and Tony Phillips giving them nothing in the first half.
But I tell you, when you get a pitching staff that bad, you're struggling. 2-2 swung on, foul tipped and held on to. Nice play by Mike McFarland, giving McGaffigan his 3rd strikeout. That leaves Ripken at first with 1 away.
Another of the little appreciated. Oh, that's a terrific play by McFarland. Sort of snatched that tip foul just before it was going to hit him in his left foot. Another one of the underappreciated abilities of certain catchers. Tend to do well in situations like that.
Here's the opposing catcher, Bob Melvin.
This is a situation where Robinson sometimes likes to hit and run with Melvin. And Robinson often will use the hit and run with hitters in slumps. A lot of managers will do that. They feel it gives that slump-ridden hitter a little more concentration on the pitch, sort of forces them into the game.
Bob Melvin batting .238. Takes the pitch up high, had an RBI single in the 4th.
I heard Frank Robinson paid a tremendous compliment by Joe Morgan the other night. Joe was talking Sunday night on the game, the Oakland-Cleveland game, about the year he played for Robbie in San Francisco. And he talked about how much he learned about the game from Frank Robinson that year. Now, and he said he became a better player. Now, at that point in Joe Morgan's career, to elevate himself in his perceptions about the game and what he perceived to be his own abilities, that's some compliment for Frank Robinson.
The throw to first as Ripken was standing on the bag.
Just want to know he hadn't forgot him. McGaffigan trying to keep the double play in order right here. Chop to third, may have done it. Seitzer, White, Brett. That's be it. So only 3 batters faced despite a leadoff walk. And we've completed 6. We remain deadlocked. Timeout. Wait. Time. No. Well, July 29, 1988, right here at Memorial Stadium. Jeff Ballard, the victim, didn't get timeout, gets the home run. The legend grows. You do smile on those, don't you? 5-5 here, and if you missed it earlier, you'll see it 1,000 times again. He ran the wall, hauling one down in left center field, and a fantastic catch by Bo Jackson. Caught the ball and literally took 3 steps on the outfield wall. How do you do that?
Best move of its kind since To Catch a Thief, Cary Grant, Grayscale.
He can walk sideways on this earth.
And he has such a flair for the dramatic. Like, remember the touchdown run that he runs right up the tunnel after it?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, a lot of guys wouldn't have had the presence of mind to do that.
Oh, how about when he ran over Bosworth? I mean, he made me a happy boy.
And he leads it off here. He got jammed and fouls it off. And he loves it. He loves what he's doing. That's why those commercials he does are so good. He loves that showmanship aspect of it. Great talking with him tonight. New York Times ran a story in the business section on Bo Jackson, saying that he is now recognized via surveys of the advertising people as the most credible athlete to do commercials with for sponsors.
But here's my question. How in the world did the fans not vote for him for the All-Star game? I mean, the fans get so drawn in for public figures. They tend to vote for names. I mean, Ozzie Smith in a down year keeps getting votes and things like that. How did he not get votes?
Maybe because of that football, baseball, and fans unwilling to vote for someone in that category. 1-2, even if it's Bowl, who also does a good deal of that. Schilling gets the strikeout. Watch this. This is what we were talking about. 1, 2, 3. Spider-Man. But he's also a strikeout victim.
Again. And again and again.
98 strikeouts now for Bo on the season, and there's one down here in the 7th inning. Danny Tartabull up. Tartabull an RBI and a ground ball out, but not a hit tonight. Batting .236, 28 runs batted in on the season, which has been a half season for Danny Tartabull. 5 runs, 3rd inning for the Royals. Since then, they have stranded just 1 base runner.
Bo Jackson, by early in the 3rd year of his career, had struck out more times than Joe DiMaggio did in his entire career. 370.
Philosophy has changed.
Interesting, too. Such similar styles for the two players, too. Yeah,
yes, very. 2 balls, 1 strike.
Joe DiMaggio was introduced the other day at the Old Timers game, the Equitable Old Timers game in Chicago, and the man has such elegance still.
Never changed to short. Ripken. Milligan 2 down. 2 away in the top half of the 7th inning.
Yeah, nobody should ever have looked that cool selling Mr. Coffees, you know, but he sort of carried it off. He has been a major celebrity in this country in 7 decades.
Right fielder.
7 different decades up until the present, starting in the 30s.
You think of how few athletes can even come close to that sort of recognition through 3 generations of people?
Yep.
Not many. 2 down, bases empty. Jim Eisenreich
didn't go blabbing about it in any of those decades. Didn't write a tell-all autobiography.
Very understated.
Did marry Madeline Monroe.
Yeah,
one of the great love stories ever. Outside for a ball. All the things that happened to him in his life, personal and public, were the kinds of things of which movies and dreams and books are written.
Nothing like DiMaggio and Monroe. I don't think will ever. I mean, myth on myth. I don't think anything like that's ever going to happen.
Eisenreich has had a couple of hits, takes the strike, 2-1.
I mean, let's face it, John McEnroe and Tatum O'Neal is not exactly in that league.
No.
Or Sean and Madonna or any of that stuff. I mean, it was no, really, I'm serious.
You're right. Eisenreich 2-2.
He was lucky too, because that marriage and that romance was not played out in a tabloid age, you know. He didn't have to fend off. I mean, there was stuff like that, but he didn't have to fend off all those rags.
Two delivery. Eisenreich inside, and it's 3-2 as Schilling bends one on the inside part of the plate.
The great quote from the book about Joe and Marilyn, that she'd come back from this highly successful tour of the camps and said, Joe, that was such cheering, you've never heard anything like it.
Eisenreich to left field. Orsulak is there. That will do it. 1-2-3 inning. Last hit was in the 5th inning for Kansas City. Well, there you see, we're locked in 5-5 despite the Royals with the big hits. I'll take it 10-5 as we go to the bottom half of the 7th inning. Friday night doubleheader coming up. New York Mets trying to catch the Pirates. Cincinnati Reds. Everybody's trying to catch them. Straw will be on. You'll see it right here on ESPN to kick it off. And then the second half of the doubleheader, the Toronto Blue Jays and the California Angels. Blue Jays and Red Sox seemingly locked into that divisional race right now. And the Angels trying to cut some of that ground away in that Western Division. That's all coming up on our doubleheader.
The new pitcher is 33-year-old Steve Farr. His automobile license plate is his nickname, Beast.
And Beast is ready to go, and first pitch is lined to center field. Base hit. Billy Ripken, 6-game hit streak for him as he starts the bottom half of the 7th with the 6th Orioles hit, and they have the leadoff man on again. They did in the 6th.
Beast is the one guy on this staff who can really be proud of this season. Steve Farr has been a short man, a long man, a starter. As everybody else seems to be crumbling around him, Farr, who's made 3 starts and has pitched in middle relief, has had a wonderful season. In 57 innings, he's allowed only 42 hits.
Brad Cummins will try and bunt him over. Outside as they charge in. Guy who had the home run, his 3rd of the season, in the 2nd inning. Now called upon to move that base runner around after the 7th inning stretch of this tie game. Farr has worked against the Orioles in 2 previous games, 2 2/3 innings of relief, given up 3 earned runs and a couple of hits against Baltimore. Orioles have seen a good deal of Steve Farr. He's appeared in 24 games, more than any other pitcher on the Royals staff has appeared against Baltimore. Bunting, and a good one. Farr will go to the second baseman covering. White is there, crediting with a sacrifice. Cummins has had a very impressive night as he gets the base runner Billy Ripken down to second. A home run, a ground ball out that drove in a run, and now a sacrifice for Brad Cummins. 1 away.
You know, Steve Farr is one of those terrific stories. In 85, he began a year with Cleveland. He'd been 3-11 in 84, and late in spring, they simply released him. And he went home. He went home, and for 34 days, he was a welder in La Plata, Maryland.
And now he's pitching baseball again. Ball 1 to Devereaux.
The Royals were the only team that would offer him a contract as good as AAA. So he took it, went to Omaha, pitched so well by the end of that year he was back in the major leagues and has been here ever since. Better than welding.
He too has a strong arm. Well, I don't know about that. Here's the 1-0 pitch, and that one is a base hit into center. Caught Ripken going back to second base, though. He's going to have to stop at third. But Devereaux comes through. He's got a 6-game hit streak, and the Orioles have runners at the corners with 1 away.
I understand that you have to play it safe here, but who did Billy Ripken think was going to catch this ball?
I think White, the second baseman. I think he thought White had moved over to cover the bag.
He really misread this ball.
It wasn't close. Put the brakes on. Not sure he would have had a chance anyway on Jackson. I don't think they would have sent him. So the Orioles, who have had the lead in this game, 2-0 in the 2nd inning, now have a chance to get it back in the bottom of the 7th. 5-5. They've picked up their 7th hit. They've got runners at the corners, and Orsulak up with 1 away.
Gentlemen, to keep peace with the PR directors of the American League, I've got to read this note to you. I was just passed on. It involves Steve Farr and the Orioles PR director, Rick Vaughn.
Seitzer is in at third base, as there might be a squeeze, they figure, with Orsulak up.
When Rick Vaughn was with George Mason and Steve Farr was with American University in the mid-70s, they pitched against each other.
I wonder who sent that note.
I think that was passed on by Rick Vaughn. I don't think Steve Farr's personal PR director is here tonight.
Go to first will hold him. A lot going on the diamond right here now. The Royals believe Orsulak may put one down and have moved Seitzer in at third base. Brett holding the bag at first, then cutting in. He's not indicated he's thinking about bunting, but he hasn't had a strike yet. He's checking the signs with Cal Ripken at third base, the coach.
You got to get a good hack here. I mean, you would think that Farr's got to come in.
Orsulak's a .286 hitter with runners in scoring position this year.
Seitzer moves in even closer at third. Orsulak, he was going to swing. At least make him think so. 2 balls and 1 strike. Potential go-ahead runs on at third base. That's Billy Ripken. Devereaux on at first.
Boy, is there a huge hole between White, who's cheating second for the double play, and the first baseman Brett, who's holding on to the runner Devereaux.
Here's the 2-1. There's the hole. There's the base hit. It'll be played by Eisenreich. Run is in, and Baltimore's back on top. Second time they've had the lead. 6-5. Billy Ripken scores, and Joe Orsulak delivers the current go-ahead RBI.
You've got to pitch to the defense, and Farr gives Orsulak a perfect pitch to pull. And the monster hole is just inviting.
Next to Ripken and maybe including Ripken. He might have been their most valuable hitter down the stretch last year. He's a really good player, Joe Orsulak.
And you know what? He fought off Frank Robinson's platoon system. Robinson now respects him so much he starts him against most lefties.
He's doing the job this season. That's his 39th run batted in. And Randy Milligan goes up the middle for a base hit. From second base, Devereaux turns. Bo Jackson will throw to second, and the Orioles get another run in, and it's 7-5 Baltimore.
That booing you think you might hear in the background is not booing at all. It's Milligan's nickname, Moose, in Baltimore.
And the Moose gets the breaking ball right off the pitching plate. Drove it right up the middle. Jackson had no play at home on Devereaux, scored from second. He just made the turn and came in standing up. Frank Funk, the pitching coach, is on his way out for Randy Milligan. His team leading 48th run batted in.
The man who scored the run, Devereaux, came from a pretty doggone good college outfield. He and Barry Bonds flanked Oddibe McDowell in the Arizona State outfield. That's a pretty fair college outfield.
Speed in it.
Wow.
Aquino is ready in the bullpen. Fire's been touched up tough this season in the 3 appearances he's had against the Baltimore Orioles. They will not make the pitching move right here with Mickey Tettleton coming to the plate. Switch hitter who's batting .299 right and .217 left. And they'll hope Fire can get the double play ground ball right here with 1 out. 9 hits now for Baltimore. 2 runs in the bottom of the 7th inning as they get the lead back. 2 on. 1 inside to Tettleton. Everybody's contributed here. Orsulak, Randy Milligan, Cal Ripken, Bob Melvin, Brad Comets. Well, with RBIs, Comets the only one with 2. 2-0.
And how about the job in the middle innings by the 2 kids, Ben McDonald and Kurt Schilling? 4 solid innings and middle inning relief from them.
Orsulak at second, Randy Milligan at first.
Now you got that awful situation if you're Kansas City with the otter Greg Olson down in the Baltimore bullpen. This is a tough team to rally against.
Breaking ball misses, 3 balls and no strikes. In danger of loading him up for Cal Ripken. That'll send McFarland to the mound. Tettleton is hitting .240. Will he get a green light on 3-0? Takes it 3-1.
I believe he had a green light, but the pitch wasn't in the zone he wanted it.
And that guy's waiting on deck. He's hitting the ball right now. 3-1. Runner goes at second. They got a chance for a double play. He's safe. Couldn't get over to cover third. Seitzer. Somebody missed a sign. Orsulak will get a stolen base. Randy Milligan did not go from first base. And Orsulak should have been out, but Seitzer couldn't get over to cover the bag.
It's a big play if Tettleton hits the ball on the ground now.
I don't know as that's Milligan's fault, guys. Orsulak broke so late from second base, it's almost like Orsulak thought the count was 3-2 and he should be running.
Look how far away from the bag he was. 3-2, and there goes the runner, but it won't matter. The bases are loaded, so it's all the same difference. Fire gives up the walk. Baltimore with 2 runs in as the base is loaded for Cal Ripken with 1 out. He's already picked up 1 RBI, and he will have to face somebody other than Fire. There you see the bases loaded average. He's going to get a shot at it, but it's going to be Luis Aquino. He's going to be coming out of the pen as John Wathan moves in. So McGaffigan, who went 3 innings, didn't give up a run and no hits, walked 1, struck out 3, was relieved by Fire, but Fire here in the 7th has run into trouble. Works only a third of an inning, 4 hits, responsible for a bases loaded situation that Luis Aquino is going to have to deal with.
Luis Aquino turned 25 in May. He's a former Toronto Blue Jay who worked his way up through their system and then was dealt to Kansas City in 1987 with Juan Benitez going over to the Blue Jays in exchange. He's been used in almost every role but closer in his career in Kansas City. He mixes a fastball that's in the high 80s. It's either a slider or a curve. It's that pitch that a lot of people refer to as a slurve, and a changeup. He's got a slow and easy motion, and he can lull you to sleep at times. When he turns it loose, because his motion's so easy, the pitch can appear faster than it really is.
Well, the tough situation for Aquino. Bases loaded, 1 out. Cal Ripken up. The Orioles have 2 runs in, have retaken the lead, 7-5. And Ripken ready to go. Inside. Aquino's last outing was his only start as he came on for Storm Davis on July 5 to make a start, emergency start. So he hasn't pitched since the 5th. 1-0 delivery. Ripken fouls it back. Orsilax at third, Milligan's at second, and Tettleton's at first, and they're all the responsibility of Farr. The Orioles have a chance to just about put this ball game away here in the 7th inning with a big hit here by Ripken. That's a walk. Ripken off the fist, outside of third. It's playable. Seitzer. Big out. Ripken retired. Now there are 2 down. The bases remain loaded, and Worthington will give it a whirl.
Gary, you're very correct about the size of that out. If Ripken delivers even a run with a sacrifice fly, trailing the Orioles 3 into the late innings, 2 is a big enough task against this team. Any more, those are killer runs sitting out there on base.
They're still there, but now there are 2 away. Worthington got out of his 0 for 11 with his single in the 4th. Aquino. Slurve pitch misses outside.
You know, you look at this Oriole team and you can factor in all the magic of last year and all the things that happened. It's sort of amazing that they won 91 games.
That is a foul ball. 1-1.
Because in a lot of ways they're sort of a plodding, uninteresting team with some interesting players factored in and an interesting manager, and it all added up to a wonderful 1989. But they were really helped by the way the American League East fell off last year.
I don't think there's any question. They got more blood out of their stone than anybody else in the league last year.
They certainly played above their collective heads as a team, to their credit. 1-1. Aquino's gone in. A ball and 2 strikes.
Ooh. That's got a chance to be a double black and blue spot tomorrow.
Fan reaching up by the dugout, trying to get that foul ball.
Yeah, it was a nice move. He did everything except knock himself out.
Yes.
Almost did that. Bases loaded. 1-2 to Worthington. Should be the inning. Seitzer, forced play. They got out of it. Well, bases loaded and 1 away. They didn't score, but they did score a couple before that. Orioles back on top. 7-5 game going to the 8th inning at Memorial Stadium in Baltimore. Sunday night, San Francisco and St. Louis right here on ESPN. 8 o'clock start time. Will Clark, Kevin Mitchell from the All-Star team for the Giants. Ozzie, of course, will be there. Red Shane Dinks back skippering the St. Louis Cardinal Ball Club. John Miller, Joe Morgan. We'll have it for you. Our Sunday night baseball game here on ESPN. Thank you very much. Flip it over and it says send cash. Another pitcher.
It is soon to be 31 years old. Next week, Mark Williamson Mark Williamson had some early season injury problems, but you can tell from the 1-loss record in the ERA, this is a guy that, when healthy, really provides the Orioles a terrific setup man for Greg Olson. Look at the innings pitched and hits ratio. That's remarkable. Mark Williamson throws a fastball, complements it with a slider and a palm ball. 3 homers in 54 innings is a stat that managers can live with for bullpen pitchers.
Schilling, who leaves the game, has a chance to win it. 2 perfect innings. He retired all 6 he faced, including a couple of strikeouts. Mark Williamson is the only other Oriole staff member to have a save other than Olson. Olson's got 17, and Schilling has 1 of those currently on the roster. There's another one in there by somebody who's not here anymore. Curt Schilling has never won a major league game. This will be a chance for his first major league victory, so he'll be, other than a uninterested bystander. Left field. Orsolak had some trouble running that one down in the corner as he started running out of room. But he got it. Wilson is retired, 1 away.
This is probably a 1-inning situation for Mark Williamson. That's the way Frank Robinson usually uses his bullpen. Williamson gets that out from Orsolak and 2 more, and Robinson generally then goes to the otter to close it out. Greg Olson. By the way, that's the first time Mark Williamson has ever retired Willie Wilson in the major leagues. 4 for 4 before that at bat.
Not anymore. 7-5 Baltimore lead. We are in the 8th inning. The Royals had a 5-2 lead at one point. The Orioles came back in the 4th and got 3. This game has gone back and forth with each team having a decent lead in it. And there's a base hit. Orsolak's going to have to track that down in the corner. And on his way to second base, McFarland, and he's got his second double. 2 for 4, and this doubles hitting Royals team not going to let it go. That'll bring the potential tying run to the plate here in the top half of the 8th inning. That's hit number 11.
Besides bringing the tying run to the plate, McFarland's double does one other thing. It gets Greg Olson up in the Orioles' pen. Frank Robinson will not go long in this situation.
They will stall for some time right here. McFarland now with 16 doubles. 2 of them here tonight. And that will bring up Frank White, batting 9th in the order. His 2 for 3 have been singles and RBI. And Williamson takes a look back to second to McFarland. Fastball for a strike.
By the way, last week when we were on, we mentioned Frank White as being the graduate of the academy, as Olson gets ready along with the left-hander.
Jeff Ballard.
Jeff Ballard?
That's actually
not true.
No, that's true. 0-1 count, 1 away. Breaking ball bounced.
There were a bunch of people who went to the academy that eventually made it to the big leagues. This is the star, but UL Washington went through there, and Rodney Cool Breeze Scott went through there. Luis Salazar was even there as it was closing down.
Just what? Just took a couple of courses?
A couple of courses, had his eyes checked.
1 ball, 1 strike. Down low, 2 balls, 1 strike. Williamson not wanting to put the potential tying run on here. Already has McFarland on at second base.
By the way, do you know who was the director of the baseball?
Not a clue.
Academy? Sid Thrift.
Good reason why it failed.
2 balls, 1 strike. Shallow left center. Orsolak has got it. Second out. Finally remains at second base. Memorial Stadium in Baltimore. Game was delayed about a half an hour by some light rain just before it got started at about 7. Very, very minimal shower since then. A mist. Good to have you with us on our Wednesday night ESPN baseball game. Thorne, Hitzkus, and Lupica here. I'm happy to have you there. And a good one. 7-5. Baltimore trying to keep their win streak alive. It'll move to 3 if they can get one here. Their home record is 14-20 for the Orioles here at Memorial Stadium this season. Been a real negative for them. Last season they were 47-34 at home. Well, they're trying to add to that total here tonight, and there are 2 down here in the 8th inning, and Seitzer, the leadoff batter.
You know, bullpen pitchers often are guys who have like records of 3-3 or 4-5. Williamson's a guy that throughout his career has been a winning bullpen pitcher. He's 27-16 for his career out of the bullpen.
His pitch to Seitzer, turned it over, ran inside, but missed down low. 2 balls, no strikes. He's doing it the hard way right now. John Wathan, his team's on the road. 1 game here, just fly in, open the bags, get dressed, play, and leave for Boston. And then they'll play 4 there and 3 in New York. 2-0. Should be it. Randy Milligan. No runs. A 1-out double, but McFarland gets stranded at second base. 8 have now been left on by the Royals. First ESPN baseball game. These 2 clubs, Kansas City and Baltimore. Sam Horn, acquired on almost opening day, delivered this home run in Kansas City, and a shot that plopped in the water. That was off Saberhagen. Later on in the ball game, he comes up again off Steve Farr and launches another one. He finished 4 for 5, 6 RBIs, 2 home runs for Sam Horn. Trouble is, since then, he's only hit 2 others. But he's back on the bench. He went down for a while. He's sitting next to Randy Milligan without the hat on there. Sam Horn on our opening day, couple of homers. As we go to the bottom of the 8th.
That was a good story. Remember, his mom was ill. She'd had a stroke and was in the hospital in San Diego, Velma. She's having surgery this week on a cyst to have it removed.
Good luck to her.
Yep. She's well, and the cyst was a major part of the problem. The doctors expect that to take care of her physical problem. So that's good news.
Bob Melvin in the 8th, leading it off for the Orioles, up by 2. Luis Aquino on in relief, gets it in for the strike. Melvin, then Billy Ripken and Brad Comins, bottom 3rd of the order. Aquino, good job getting the 2 outs he needed in the 7th inning with the bases loaded. The Orioles had already put a couple of runs up. Run around on that one. Strikeout victim, Melvin, 1 away.
Second baseman, Phil.
Good breaking ball. It's one of those that starts in the strike zone, but watch where it ends up. However, you start the swing on where it looks, and it ends up with the catcher's glove down in the dirt. Good pitch by Aquino. 1 away, Billy Ripken. Aquino starts him out inside as he did Melvin.
You know, it's interesting. You're talking about Red Shane just managing the Cardinals right now, and there's a story going around that Joe Torre can get the full-time job if he wants it. Isn't it interesting that some managers get fired, but they stay in the loop no matter what happened? And Joe Torre kind of got out of it.
More by his own choice, I think. He could clearly have managed for some teams as time's gone by here, but he enjoys broadcasting.
Really?
Yeah. I know you find that hard to believe. Here's the 2-0 pitch, but I sense from what people are saying who've talked with him that he's ready.
Yeah, you know, I thought he did a terrific job managing some really awful teams with the Mets.
3-0. Pointed that one into the strike zone. You'll find people who know Joe Torre as a player and as a manager. You won't find them to say he's an outstanding major league manager. Walked him. Well, Ripken's on again. Last 2 times up, single and a walk. Aquino, first walk he's given up. All 4 of the pitchers for the Royals have each walked 1 in this game now. Filson, McGaffigan, Farr, and Aquino.
And then he got the Atlanta Braves into the playoffs. I mean, that's like managing in the Bermuda Triangle. I mean, you know, guys sail in there, and they're never heard from again.
2 RBI man. Brad Comins with a home run tonight as well. Aquino, slow motion 1, Stillwell 2. And that will do it. Double play, only 3 up. We will go to the 9th inning. Final shot at it for the Royals. Those are the 3 due up. our Budweiser storyline of this game. The Royals 5 unearned runs in that third inning. They've not scored since. Brad Comisk, his third, a home run. Brett, good night for Kansas City with a 2 for 4, and he's now entered that category with a 2600th major league hit. A couple of doubles tonight for him. But the offense has gone to the Orioles, who came back, Orsulak and Milligan. RBI singles in the 7th inning when the Orioles got a couple of runs that are now the difference in this game. And going to the 9th inning, we'll see the stopper.
Yes, we will. This is the otter, Greg Olson. The shocking thing about Greg Olson is 3 losses. There are people who didn't think Greg Olson would have 3 losses in any year in his career. He burst on the scene last year as the Baseball Writers of America Rookie of the Year. He was 5-2 with 27 saves last year and a 1.69 earned run average, and he's doing it again. He mixes a truly rare combination. A 95-mile-an-hour active fastball and a curveball that he throws extremely hard. Most curveballs in the major leagues are somewhere in the 70-mile-an-hour range. Greg Olson's curveball can get to 83 or 84 with snap on it, and that's something hitters just don't see enough to get used to. A curveball thrown that hard.
Well, let's see what he can do with it. Bobby Thigpen leads the American League with 27 saves. Eckersley, Jones, Schooler, and Rick Aguilera ahead of Olson in the save department. But he, of course, leads the Orioles with 17. And he's trying to save it for Curt Schilling, who can pick up his first major league win, as Stillwell leads it off.
Of all our pitching dramas tonight, great and small, maybe this is the best one. Olson trying to get that first win for Curt Schilling.
Curt Schilling has no record this year. He was 0-1 last year with the Orioles and 0-3 in '88 with the Orioles. Prior to this season, he'd appeared in only 9 major league games. He has appeared in 5 major league games this season, and here tonight, Curt Schilling awaits the outcome. Orioles, they do not forfeit the lead. He's got the victory. Breaking ball. Stillwell, no way he's going to catch that one. 1-2.
There it is. See, the problem for most hitters, the edge they have is when a pitcher goes from fastball to curveball,
fastball, chased it. And Olson gets the strikeout. 1 away in the 9th.
as the rain starts to come down again, 95 miles an hour.
This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of Major League Baseball may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form prior to midnight without the express written consent of Major League Baseball or that couple at the scandal.
They got 48 more minutes and they can retransmit it?
Almost. Illegally, of course. One away. Breaking ball in for a strike to Brett.
I think we've made some real strides tonight, our crew with Kansas City, don't you? Very well behaved.
Very.
Compared to the way you guys behaved last Wednesday. I think it was you.
0-1 delivery. Breaking ball again down low to Brett.
But I didn't mind taking the heat for it.
I understand, Mike, and we appreciate it, Mike.
I am
when
a
you're
team
guilty,
player.
you should, isn't it?
We appreciate it, Mike.
Stand up and take it like a man. Olson ready, 1-1 to Brett up high. Olson now has 45 strikeouts in the 44 2/3 innings that he's worked this season.
Of course, you know, while Olson seems fairly formidable, you know what the theory is for Kansas City. Get Brett on and let Bo do something dramatic.
Bo's going to be coming up, whether Brett's on or not, and he may be right there, falling in center field, base hit. Okay, and he falls down. Brett's on his way to second as Devereaux slipped on the wet grass. Never touched the baseball. It'll be his third double of the game. Brett, 3 for 5, is on second base, and the potential tying run is we're going to do some mano-a-mano right here.
And this time in baseball, Brett's double sets it up. This isn't bad. Olson against Bo.
Well, this is all right. Watch him slip as he tried to stop. Remember, it has rained here previously today.
There are few people who relish moments like this more than Bo Jackson.
Or Greg Olson, I would suspect.
Greg Olson.
One down. Took a little off that pitch and got it way inside. Bo's looking out. Oh, yes! Read my lips. And we ain't talking about raising taxes either. That engages the battle. 1-1.
I suspect Olson may decide that discretion is a little bit better the part of valor here and go with the breaking ball.
Jackson's just winding up at the plate. 1-1. Good eye. 2-1.
Against the, well, you'd like to make sure, oh my goodness, they've never seen him give up a home run here at home. You'd like to make sure you get Jackson. You don't want to walk him. That's the tie run with his speed. Anything resembling a gapper ties the game.
2-1. He ain't after a walk, but he'll take it, and it's 3 balls and 1 strike. Runner at second base. 7-5 Baltimore lead, 9th inning. Royals trying to get this at least tied up. They don't think he can get around on his fastball as the gap's in left center field. Jackson takes the walk.
One Auburn teammate walks another.
Strikeout, a walk, and a double this inning. And now 2 on for the Royals, and Tarnable. You think Olson got a little unnerved by the comment of Bo Jackson after that pitch over his head?
You mean asking him how he thought things were back at the frat house at Auburn?
Asking him what he thought he was doing on the mound, just inquiring as to his state of mind. Tarnable. He was guessing fastball, but he still couldn't get it. 1 out. Umpire flinched a little. 1 ball, 1 strike. Don't forget, Sports Center coming up. Bob Lee, Tom Mays are there. They turned back the clock in Chicago and blew a game as well. The Olympic Festival, lots of activities in Major League Baseball. 4 games, American League highlights coming up. Sports Center will have it for you. 1-1. 2-1. Wilson's got his hands on his hip. Perturbed at himself. There are the base runners. Brett at second with a double. Jackson with a walk at first.
Olson's been all over the place with the breaking ball. He's thrown a couple of good ones, but generally he's had trouble getting that breaking ball over.
I'll tell you something. He's also pitching himself into an even worse situation with as dangerous a guy as there is in the Royals batting order, which is Jimmy Eisenreich.
17 saves and 19 opportunities for Olson. He's got a chance for 18 right here. 2-1. Tarnable again gets fastball. Again couldn't get it. 2-2. Delivery. Thought about it. Swung on that. He'd have busted his batter's hand.
Now if you're Tarnable, you sit on the fastball because Olson's had terrible trouble getting the breaking ball over. You can be pretty certain you're going to get the heater here.
You think Walken thought about running for Brett?
I don't think Brett, no. He's not the tying run.
3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Tarnable. Strike!
Well, Tarnable got the heater, and Rocky Rowe thought it was over the outside corner.
2 strikeouts for Olson.
Too good to take. Oh, yeah.
Well, the ball ran back a little bit. That's one of those pitches you can't hit it if you swing, and you can't take it with 2 strikes.
So the Orioles are down to the Royals are down to their final out. 7-5, 2 away in the top of the 9th inning. They've got the 2 base runners on.
Greg Olson is going to try to burn you on the corner. And if you're Tartable, you have to know that. So you can't act surprised when he burns you on the corner.
Those 2 runs.
Fastball hitter, though.
Eisenreich's a good fastball hitter. There's the fastball, but it's on that inside corner, and it's 1 ball, 1 strike.
Don't underestimate the fact that with 2 outs, as Eisenreich swings, Bo takes off at first base. You don't even have to have a ball go to the wall to score Bo in this situation. If it hits a gap and is cut off, Bo will try.
He might run up Brett's back like he did the stadium wall.
Bounced it, held on to by Melvin. 2 balls and 1 strike. Jackson's the base runner at first. He is the potential tying run. There's Brett at second. Wilson is on deck. 3-1. He walked him, and the bases are loaded. So he's walked 2, struck out 2, given up a double. And with 2 down, the bases are loaded for the Kansas City Royals in the 9th inning. And 1 on Happy, right-hander, unhappy enough so that pitching coach Al Jackson is going to come out just to make sure he does not unnerve himself. It's Frank Robinson, Cal Ripken, Payson. John Wathan just waiting.
You know, it means nothing now if the Royals lose the game, but we don't even have a moment with this much drama if Aquino doesn't come in out of the bullpen and do a good job with the bases loaded.
Baltimore, the bases loaded, 1 out in the 7th after they'd already scored 2, and Aquino got a couple of pop-ups from Ripken and Worthington. So now, let's see what Wilson does with it. Bases loaded. Gonna make him throw a strike. He does. That's a veteran. He's not gonna let Olson get away with him swinging at a bad ball, or even get away without throwing a strike before he swung the bat. Fans are up. 1 strike away, Baltimore, from extending their win streak to 3. Oh, he punched him out at third. Don Denkinger punches out Wilson, saying he did go around. Olson strikes out the side. Schilling gets his first major league win. The Orioles have won 3 in a row. Steve Fire will be the loser. And an exciting one ended up being come from behind win for Baltimore, 7-5. What do you think?
Oh, how weak is that? Come on, Don.
Watch Olson's reaction. He wants it checked. He'll take it. So that's going to do it. Thanks for being with us on this Wednesday night. For Norm Hitzges and Mike Lupica, this is Gary Thorne. Our final, the Orioles 7 and the Royals 5.